Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Shalima Maharaj. Aurora has been working to address racial bias in policing in a bid to make the department more transparent following the death of Elijah McClain. After almost 5 years under the consent decree, the city is creating a new office to take on some of that accountability work themselves. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us live. And Rachel, the city says this plan has been in the works for some time now.
Yeah, the Aurora city manager says talks for this started around 2020 and 2021, but with the consent decree monitoring things, that was covered. Now, as the 5-year deadline approaches, they're putting in a new office in hopes of keeping those same checks and balances on power in place, but there's still work ahead. The city of Aurora is taking a deeper look at how it polices the community again. They're starting with a new task force, reviewing mental and behavioral health responses by police in the community.
It was engendered by 3 officer-involved shootings, which involved individuals in behavioral health crisis, especially the last officer-involved shooting. It was clear that the system didn't work for the individual who ultimately was shot by police. And I wanted to try to understand why that was and what could be done better.
Jeff Schlanger is the independent consent decree monitor for Aurora. He sent a report in May calling for a review to see if Aurora has the right resources to help people in crisis, like hospital beds and services, and how APD handles those calls. Now, they're bringing in local and state agencies for a task force to review it.
Yeah, but it's not just APD response. It's quite frankly, the response of the entire system.
Aurora's consent decree is closing in on its 5-year deadline, but the city plans to keep the work going, establishing the new Office of Public Safety Accountability. City Manager Jason Batchelor says plans for this office started years earlier.
It's actually something that we had actually budgeted for and planned for, and then when the city entered into the consent decree, there was kind of a decision that really you can only have one monitor at a time.
Batchelor says the new office will have full access to police data and systems to keep the department transparent and accountable.
They will be able to sit in on use of force reviews. Whenever there's a critical incident, they'll respond to that scene. They'll serve as a liaison to families that are impacted by, officer-involved shootings or other critical incidents.
Batchelor hopes the new office will help find a balance between engaging with the community and holding police to account, and with it, build back community trust.
Part of that rebuilding that community trust, it's a big ask, but I think this office can do that, and I think we're going to be as transparent as we possibly can.
The city is opening up the application for the first manager of the Office of Public Safety Accountability tomorrow. But Batchelor says getting things up and running is going to take months, and first they need to get public input, a lot of it. That's something people can do now online and by joining committees. They hope to have the office up and running toward the end of the year. Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Another hot start to the day across Colorado, but it has been cooling off towards those evenings with storms rolling in. High temps are actually to blame for more early dismissals in the Poudre School District tomorrow. For the first time, students at most schools will be let out 2 hours early. And the district says most of its schools lack air conditioning. So what they're trying to do is make sure that everyone is safe. And safety is key. And right now we're going to bring in 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. Obviously, we have been dealing with that searing heat for some time, but really getting that reprieve towards the afternoon, evening.
Yeah, at least we do have those evening showers, probably coming in a little too late for the school kids. But man, it was a brutally hot day up on the northern Front Range today. It hit 96 at the Northern Colorado Regional Airport in Loveland. 93 was our high in Denver today. So quite a bit of heat here across the eastern half of the state, and we'll have another hot day tomorrow. Not quite that hot, but we will break into the 90s again, which is pretty considerably hot for this time of year for sure. Here is the live radar showing most of the rain showers off here to the eastern plains right now, and a new wave of rain showers moving in across the western slope. But all this will gradually start to die down here this evening as things start to cool off. We're cool off pretty good here in the city. 74 down here at 9 News Studios in downtown Mile High City. 69 out at DIA right now. So those showers did a good job cooling us down pretty quickly after we hit those high temperatures today. And then here's the heat coming again tomorrow. 90s across most of the Front Range. 91 is our forecast in Denver and Fort Collins. So we're going to be in the heat and the sunshine again for most of the day tomorrow until those afternoon showers start to arrive. 5, and we're going to be right back into the thunderstorms. And I'll detail the wind gusts that we have potential for tomorrow coming up in the full forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Corey. We're going to check back in with you later on. Well, Democratic Governor Jared Polis is turning to the federal government again for help with recovery efforts following a couple of destructive wildfires this summer. Now, the state has submitted a request for a major disaster declaration for the Aspen Acres and Gold Mountain fires. If the request is approved, it would open the door for federal funds for the recovery in Pueblo, Custer, and Ouray counties. Colorado has faced roadblocks getting federal funding before. The state's last two requests for aid were denied by President Trump. Those were for the Lee and Elk wildfires on the western slope last summer and for flooding in southwestern Colorado. $40 million was blocked from getting to affected communities. Now, the Aspen Acres fire started in late June and is now the 7th largest wildfire in state history. It has burned nearly 160 square miles. For context, that is larger than the city of Denver. It's 77% contained. Recent heavy rains and the burn scar have led to damaging flooding and caused the death of a man who was swept away last weekend. And northeast of Ouray, the Gold Mountain fire has burned more than 39,000 acres, or about 60 square miles. It is now 87% contained. More than 300 homes have been destroyed in both fires. Well, it was anything but your typical Sunday in Denver's Platt Park. State wildlife officials were called to the neighborhood after a bear was spotted near Louisiana Avenue and Pennsylvania Street. Take a look. The 100-pound bear was hanging out in a tree and had to be tranquilized and removed from the area with help from DPD. Now, CPW says the male bear is 1.5. There is good news, a very happy ending to this story. CPW shared that the bear was released into the wild. No farmers markets or condos in sight this time. 9 News photojournalist Foster Gaines spoke with the residents who found the bear before police were called to the scene.
We're in Platt Park, Louisiana and Pennsylvania, like 8 in the morning, and I got a call from my neighbor across the street. They told me that we had a bear in our tree, and I didn't believe it. I was just like, I guess I said, no way, it's a big raccoon. And then I got up, went up onto my porch, and it was a big bear. It's a bear in the tree. I also called Faye, and
she was like, there's a bear in the tree. And I was like, what? Let me get dressed, I'm coming out. It was in this cottonwood tree.
So in the real big tree right here, it found itself a good spot to be comfortable. So because it's Sunday morning, that means that the farmer's market was starting. And so we were like, there's about to be a lot of people coming down here. We were just trying to get things blocked off. The city had left a couple road closed signs out. I was like, well, no one's working. Let's grab those and block off the streets and the sidewalks at least.
And at that point, like, the market was in full swing.
Which is the last thing you want. You've got little kids, you got their dogs, you've got the smell of food. Yeah. Like right there, it's like this trifecta that just doesn't look good for a bear to get out of the situation easily.
But the people that came were parks and wildlife.
So they're just waiting to see where he's gonna fall out of the tree.
Oh,
those guys did such a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, they really mitigated like the situation. Yeah, you know, he'll be okay. They tagged him. I'll be looking for a bear with an ear tag, I guess.